Hey, it's the Raw wrap-up. Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter, WrestlingMayhemShow.com. This is what we do after Monday Night Raw. I'm running solo tonight here in Mayhem Studios in Pittsburgh, PA. So we're going to recap real quick Raw, give you some thoughts on it, and maybe a little bit check on the Twitter polls and see what you guys thought throughout the night as we went hour to hour. Ooh, my phone's taking off. Got to relive that Heath Slater moment. Speaking of Heath Slater, a lot of people saying a lot of great things about him tonight after, getting, inevitably crushed by Brock Lesnar. It was great. It was not just another Paul Heyman promo. We had happy Brock Lesnar. Corpus Christi woke up at least for a moment to celebrate Brock Lesnar. That was great. But in the meantime, I think Heath Slater shows why he's the last surviving member, or was the last surviving member of the three-man band in that promo, in what we got going on, in how many kids he may or may not have. So I think that's really cool. And I don't know what that does for making me want to see him against Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar against Randy Orton, but it definitely entertained me for one night at least. In the meantime, of course, that was a little weird. So of course, we kind of last week we having Raw end with the U.S. title in some situation has been really interesting. I feel like this. Initially, I feel like they're booking Monday Night Raw as like Saturday Night's main event, where the important thing mostly happened early in the show, and you kind of end up with a jobber match on the way out. Kind of like how Saturday Night Live is booked. But and maybe they're doing that a little bit by putting Brock Lesnar earlier in the night, putting the new Universal Championship feud earlier in the night to some regard. But I'm kind of okay with this. I'm okay with this. Like, let's not have always that main title match. And they've been doing this off and on a little bit. And then realizing the entire thread of the night, the story of the night was Roman Reigns and Rusev. That was pretty cool. Also from tonight, we did have, like I said, the Demon reveal. A lot of people having opinions on Twitter about what, showing the Demon not on the pay-per-view. Up until now, the Demon has only popped up on takeovers, NXT takeover events, which will be the equivalent of like a SummerSlam, a Battleground, shows like that for the main roster WWE. We got to see him on Monday Night Raw. I'm of two minds on this. First of all, I'm thinking I think it's fine. Justin LaBar had a really good point where he discussed how you have I think 1.5 million people subscribing to the WWE network, 3 million that watch Raw every week. It's new to a larger audience, and they've been explaining and building to this, of course, for the last few weeks, and you get a little taste of what you do get to see at SummerSlam. And I also think we're not going to just see another Demon King, Demon Balor, somebody's going to call me out on that, entrance like we usually do, like we saw tonight. It was a very typical Demon Balor entrance. I think we're going to get something grander. It's SummerSlam. I've been very excited since the first time I saw this entrance of holy crap, or the first time I saw Prince Devitt entrance in Wrestle Kingdom 9 or 10, whatever that was my first experience for him when he popped out of a coffin. And I said, when he got signed, imagine what WWE is going to do with this. Think of Undertaker over all those years. This is a guy that's already got half of the concept together, and taking WWE's production, it's already NXT, I think, has brought it up a level. And they're going to do it at SummerSlam for the brand new title. That's going to be the title for Monday Night Raw. I think something very, very special is going to happen. Maybe we might end up with a Seth Rollins win at the end, but I think your entrance is going to be really, really nice. Also from tonight, I had some thoughts on the New Day. It doesn't seem like it should be much, but man, they need Big E in that group. I don't know if it's just having a third person with the dynamic, or if it's Big E in particular. A couple weeks ago on the Wrestling Mayhem show, you can see which one, the one entitled "Which One's the Jimmy Jam?" we were kind of asking the Freebird question on who would you take away from New Day and who would you replace him with. And man, I think Big E would have a great singles career, but man, he is a core of that team. It really is the vibe of all three of them. And I mean, it was something about the promo. It was something about just them chanting at the end of it. It just felt wrong to me. But I think it's supposed to at this point, I would imagine, without Big E there. There's some good points about Carl Anderson and Gallows doing this curious exploding eggs in the microwave and the lab coats thing. I was having a huge laugh at when they zoomed into the microwave and the green screen moved with it. Definitely not the high technology we usually see with Corey Graves in the studio when he's shown the bracketology of the CWC. But it's still fun. It's low rent. It's meant to be. And thank you for the people that have been posting him dancing in New Japan gifs that just there were like 3 of them in my feed just kept dancing in sync with each other, and it was pretty tremendous to watch whenever Raw got a little light for me. We have Enzo and Cass and Y2 KO has been tremendous stuff. Great promo. I was partially paying attention before I realized they were calling Tom Phillips a different name every time they addressed him. There is a giant subset of the Raw audience that has no idea what that guy's name is, and I think that's amazing. Aside from that, generally, I thought a really, really awesome Raw. Not awesome Raw, but it was a really good Raw tonight. I had a lot going on. Oh, shout-outs to friend of the show, Delilah Doom, tonight's squisher of the squish of the week against Nia Jax. As I was just commenting about how Britt Baker, another friend of the show from here in the Pittsburgh area, has reached that Elias Sampson when he was the the jobber in the Ascension intro videos on Monday Night Raw. It looks like Britt Baker's in all the promos of getting crushed by Nia Jax, and then here comes Delilah Doom that has one of the promos. She had a Delilah Doom promo that is the reason why we've had her 3 times on the Indie Mayhem show. In the meantime, we had some polls tonight. Like I mentioned, a little bit of interactions, and if I can find the one for hour 1, we asked you, how did the first hour of WWE Raw got you feeling like badass Nia Jax or that poor Rachel girl, which is the name they gave to Delilah Doom tonight. 80% of you, that poor Rachel girl. So thank you for chiming in on that. And our second poll of the night on Twitter at Mayhem Show. You guys can follow us. Oh, I just found dancing Carl Anderson. You need to check that too. Thank you at Save Us Y2 Jake for sharing that on the Twitters tonight. But we also asked what you thought of hour 2 of Monday Night Raw. And I can't find the answers to save my life. I just saw them here a moment ago. There it is. How was hour 2? Millions of dollars at 29% and $1.50 at 71%. People not too hot on Raw tonight. So thank you, everybody that's participated in that. Some of those polls are going to be going here for a little bit longer, and you can jump in on them if you're catching us live. So the question we ask every week is, how much of Raw was watchable for you tonight? I'm going to give it a safe 2 hours and 15 minutes. No, nothing really sticks out as kind of not. It was to the point, and maybe this is just my personal day, but somewhere around the hour 45 mark, let's say, I was thinking about I wanted to brew a little bit of coffee to get myself through the night and through this show. So here I am. I coffeed up, and I did survive. So let me know what you think. Comments on this if you're on the YouTube or the Facebook watching this. If you're listening on the iTunes or anywhere else, fine podcasts are aggregated that you would discover a WWE Raw wrap-up of this nature. Please rate, comment, or just hit us up at Mayhem Show to continue the conversation. How was Raw this week? Are you excited for SummerSlam? Is Raw still better than SmackDown is? We'll find out. We'll watch that before we do the main Wrestling Mayhem Show, WrestlingMayhemShow.com, live.WrestlingMayhemShow.com. After live SmackDown, at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, you can join us in the live chat room. We should be getting the Indie Mayhem Show back this week, and we got some interviews coming up with Wardlow of our friends at the International Wrestling Cartel, IWCWrestling.com. Also, please check out IndieWrestling.com. A lot of great people involved there, including Britt Baker that we mentioned that had an incident with Nia Jax. It wasn't a match. I call them incidents when you have a squash match of that nature a couple of weeks ago here in Pittsburgh. Go check out names like that, names like Ray Lynn if you're liking women's wrestling. All kinds of fun stuff in there, and a lot of people. Ray Rowe from the Ring of Honor fame in there as well. So thank you so much for joining us. Check us out. Subscribe to the shows, WrestlingMayhemShow.com. I'm at Sorgatron on the Twitter. Keep it raw.